A very good evening, sir. Today I, Pragati Veer Singh, and my teammates are here to present the topic internationalization before you. I'll start with the definition of internationalization, which is given by Professor Wells. He said that as the process of increasing involvement in the international operation, this is known as internationalization. Internationalization is the designing of the product in such a way that it will meet the needs of users in many countries or can be easily adapted to do so. In the context, internationalization can also be referred to a company that takes steps to increase its footprints or capture greater market share outside of its country of domicile by branching out into international markets. Now, further, I'll continue with the need of internationalization. The global corporate trend towards internationalization has helped push the world economy into a state globalization in which
फुल स्क्रीन पे करो इसको। नीचे आइकॉन है, इसे फुल पे करो। ये देखिए।
just just a second, sir.
नीचे आप आइए, इसमें आइकॉन में ये दस में राइट हैंड नीचे आइए, नीचे
राइट हैंड साइड पे स्क्वायर ऐसा बना है नीचे बॉटम पे।
Yeah, just
थर्ड पे ये है।
so there are some problems. So this is not happening.
ये नीचे आइए, इधर जहाँ इधर ये दिस वन।
So this is not functioning right now.
चलिए, ओके करिए।
Okay. So I'll start with the need of internationalization. It grants a two interdependence from the local market business cycle. It permits to assess a broader market. Thirdly, it helps to improve a general company's image. Fourthly, also it helps in enhancing the productive capacity of the organization. Internationalization also leads to cost reduction and it provides access to new technology. The global corporate trends toward internationalization has helped push the world economy into a state of globalization in which economies throughout the world become highly interconnected due to cross-border commerce and finance. Now further, Muskan will continue from here with the advantages of internationalization.
Good evening, sir. I'm Muskan Shukla. Now I present the advantages of internationalization. First one is higher market value. It refers to market share, which indicate large population or customer for product and rapid increase in consumer. Second one is increased brand image. When companies start to do business outside of its home industry, it automatically makes a brand more appealing in the home country. Similarly, people in foreign location also perceive the brand as big as it is a foreign brand for them. Third one is diversified risk. It helps a company to diversify or reduces its business risk. For instance, if a company faces rough time in its home country, it can still count on foreign location for revenue and keep continue the production. Fourth one is access to overseas resources. Taking business global helps to lower wastage of resources. This is because business is able to tap ideal resources of the country. Fifth one is reduced cost of production. A company can advantages of reduced cost of production outside its domestic operation by identifying a nation where the labor is cost effective and in abundant supply. Sixth one is exposure to foreign market. It helps to generate foreign exchange which becomes in handy for meeting future requirement pertaining of cost effective factor of production helps to exposure to foreign markets. Seventh one is increase economic welfare. Since countries can specify in the things that can be produced in the most efficient manner, global trade significantly increase the overall welfare levels on our country. Now we discuss the disadvantages of internationalization. First, trade barriers. These are government-induced restriction on internationalization trade, which generally overall economic efficient. Second one is lack of control. It is a lack of direct control of top management to lower management. It due to lack of communication and coordination amongst superiors to subordinates. Third one is cross-border licensing barriers. It due to indifferences of rules, regulations, and norms in other countries. Fourth one, higher distribution cost. Distribution cost is also known as transportation cost because the transportation cost is more expensive. That's why the distribution cost is rises. Fifth one is quality control issues. Quality control issues is rises due to the difference in taste, preferences, wants and desires of other countries' consumers. Sixth one is ethical concern. It is due to different ethical norms in different countries. And seventh one is cultural barriers. It may also leads to problems related to international trade. For instance, if two countries had problem in the past and their cultural value are also quite different, those countries may not able to establish fair trading agreement and for the kind of problematic relationship in trade. Now we will discuss the why firm internationalize. First one is seek opportunity for growth through market diversification, offer service that are not offered by business in the home country. Second, earn higher margin and profit copying with intense competition of international firms. Serve customers who have relocated abroad, serve customers who have moved in foreign market. Third one is be close to supply, source benefit for global sourcing advantage and gain flexibility to product sourcing company establishing its operation located abroad next to the supplier. Fourth one is gain access to lower cost or better value of factor of production. Factor of production. The international business target low cost of operation and value of factor of production. Fifth one is development economies of scale in sourcing, production, marketing and research and development. Reducing economies of scale sales per unit cost manufacturing due to obtaining in higher volume. Sixth one is conferring international competitors more effectively or growth or competition in the home market. The international market is so increasing and competition is become tough. Seventh one is invest in potential rewarding relationship with foreign partners. Firm joining ventures with profitable partners. Developing partners to grow business with partner for profit making opportunity. Now further discuss Nishu Patel.
Good evening, sir. My name is Nishu Patel, and I'll start with the topic how do firms go international? First, direct and indirect export. The choice between direct exporting and indirect exporting is an analogous to the choice between selling through a manufacturer's representative or through the firm's own sales force in domestic marketing. Second, licensing and franchising. Licensing and franchising are both business and legal relationships. The difference is that in licensing, the relationship between parties is limited, whereas in franchising, it is more extensive. Third, joint ventures. Multiple organizations combine their resources to gain a tactical and strategic edge in the market, depending on the company's goals. Fourth, direct investment. FDI is designed to acquire a controlling interest in an enterprise. Direct investment provides capital funding in exchange for an equity interest without the purchase of regular shares of a company's stock. Some of the international expansion advices are first, find the right partners and team. Second, having the right infrastructure. Third, consider the impact of any new ideas. Fourth, always do your due diligence. Fifth, rely on experts. Sixth, be willing to change direction. Seventh, alter your customer support. Now, coming towards the direct and indirect exports. Direct export, direct exporting involves in organizations selling goods directly to a customer in an international market. Second, indirect export. The sales of a firm's product in foreign market is done through a foreign agent in indirect export. Now, covering the topic of licensing and franchising. First, licensing. It is a contractual agreement in which one firm grants access to its patents, trade secrets, technology to another firm in a foreign country for a fee, which is known as royalty. Second, franchising. It is a specialized form of licensing in which franchisor sells intangible property to the franchisee, but also impose strict rules on how business is to be done. Degree of control of licensing and franchising. The licensee is governed by the licensor's terms of use as described in the licensing agreement for the licensed product. Licensor, however, has no autonomy over the business for the licensor. The franchisee, franchisor exercises enormous control over the business of the franchisee in terms of quality of services provided, marketing and selling strategies, etc. Process of licensing and franchising is when licensing is governed by a licensing agreement which involves a one-time transfer of property or rights for a fee. There is no technical support or assistance provided by the licensor in most cases. Franchising is governed by an elaborate agreement specifying the responsibilities and duties of both the parties involved. The franchisor assists in setting up the services provider with adequate skills and knowledge to emanate its brand to the customer. Now Sadhana will continue with the remaining topics.
Good evening, sir. I am Sadhna Sahu. Now I will start my topic joint venture. A joint venture is a business arrangement in which two or more parties agree to pool their resources for the purpose of accomplishing a specific task, often for the purpose of starting a new business activity. In a joint venture, each of the participants is responsible for profits, losses, and costs associated with it. However, the venture is its own entity, separate from the participants' other business interests. Now we'll start direct investment. The first point of direct investment or foreign direct investment is designed to acquire a controlling interest in an enterprise. It provides capital funding in exchange for an equity interest without the purchase of a company's stock. Direct investment may involve a company in one country opening its own business operations in another country. Direct investment can also acquiring control of a business's assets already operating in the foreign country. Now further discuss Pragati.
Now I'll share the stages of internationalization. There are five stages of internationalization as such: domestic company, international company, multinational company, global company, and transactional company. Domestic company, I'll start with domestic company. The domestic company limits its operation, vision, mission to the national boundaries. It focuses on domestic suppliers and on inland opportunities. It conducts all affairs within its home boundaries. Tax structure of domestic companies is different than foreign countries. As per Section 222A, domestic companies means an Indian company or any other company which is in respect of its income liable to pay tax under this Act has made the prescribed arrangement for the declaration and payment within India. Example: Tata Iron Steel Company, Wipro Associate Cement Company, BSNL are all these domestic companies. In order to become a domestic company, it is essential that they set other company may have prescribed arrangement and declared payments within India of dividends out of such income. Now further, Muskan will continue.
Now I will discuss the international companies. International companies is an organization that has business operation in several markets across the globe. The company may have its headquarters in one central location, but it has subsidiary office in each of the country. Each company remains the ethnocentric or domestic country oriented. It focuses on domestic practices but extends the wings to foreign countries. Now I discuss why a company would choose trade internationally apart from simple market expansion. Now international companies are able to take advantages of loopholes in local tax law or law to transfer profit from one country to another and thus avoid paying tax and are taxed at very low rate. This type of people may think of it as a form of tax avoidance. There are many international companies like Adidas, Honda, Walmart, BMW, Puma, and many more. Further discuss Nishu.
Multinational companies. A multinational company is one which is incorporated in one country but whose operation extends beyond the home country, which carries on business in other countries. These companies shift from ethnocentric to polycentric. MNCs formulate different strategies for different markets. These companies, also known as international, stateless, or transnational corporation organizations, tend to have budgets that exceed those of many small countries. Currently, world's leading multinational corporation is Walmart with 23 million working employees and 500 American dollars revenue. And Tata Consultancy Services (TCS) is the leading Indian MNC with 63,000 working employees and 1.64 trillion Indian rupees turnover annually. Now, moving towards foreign multinationals and their Indian affiliates. Foreign multinational company Bata Incorporation and its Indian affiliate is Bata India. Hindustan Unilever is an Indian affiliate of Unilever Corporation. Sony Corporation is a foreign multinational and its Indian affiliate is Sony India. Coca-Cola India is an Indian affiliate of Coca-Cola Corporation, which is a foreign multinational company. Cadbury India is an Indian affiliate of Cadbury. Maruti Suzuki is an Indian affiliate of Maruti Automobiles. Now, I would request Sadhna to come forward and define the respective topic. Thanks.
Now will we start multinational companies. First point, transactional company produces, market, invest and operates across the world. Second point, they do not have centralized management system. Third point, they do not have subsidiaries but just have many companies. Now multinational versus international. Multinational of first point. They own a home company and its subsidiaries. Transactional first point. They do not have subsidiaries but just many companies. Second point of multinational. They have a centralized management system. Transactional of second point. They do not have centralized management system. The third point, they face barriers in decision making due to its centralized management system. Third point of transactional. They are able to gain more enter the local market since they maintain the own system. Thank you all for listening to our presentation. Thank you, sir.
Another one, another presentation. Hello,
Sir,
Ashu.
hello sir.
Ashu,
Hello sir.
Yes, sir.
Ashu present करो.
Yes, sir. Akriti?
Yes, sir.
Ashu start करो.
Hello.
हाँ
सर
यस।
आवाज नहीं जा रही।
बोल क्यों नहीं रहे हो? आवाज आ रही है? बोल नहीं रही थी? देखो,
डेटा नहीं पकड़ा।
एनी प्रॉब्लम?
सर स्क्रीन नहीं शेयर हो रही है।
चलिए हम शिवम कल कर देना आप। शिवम।
सर एक
Sir,
मिनट।
sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir,
Dipali,
sir, please listen. I don't have laptop and I borrowed from my friend today just for the sake of presentation and I have to return it by today itself. So please, sir, try to understand my situation. Else, I won't be able to give presentation tomorrow. Don't take it, sir. Otherwise, I am telling my genuine problem.
चलिए आकृति आप कल प्रेजेंट कर देना, ठीक है।
सर
शिवम आप
sir,
जस्ट
sir,
हाँ।
दीपाली प्रेजेंट करो,
नहीं,
दीपाली भी सर प्रेजेंट कर रही है वो
दीपाली
स्क्रीन।
इसको
आकृ,
प्रेजेंट कर दो।
आकृति
यस
जस्ट
सर।
लिसन,
जी
आप
सर।
कल कर देना, ठीक है।
अरे सर
यू
नहीं,
टेक योर,
दीपाली प्रेजेंट कर रही है
अरे यार।
स्क्रीन।
इट इज, आप क्यों नहीं समझ रहे हैं भाई, ये
ओके
रिकॉर्डेड
सर
है
ओके।
यार। कल करिए आप इतना टाइम लगा रहे हैं। चलिए शिवम करो। शिवम,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हाँ चलो स्टार्ट करो।
I am audible to all. Please confirm.
ऑडिबल, चलिए।
Okay, sir. First and foremost, we would like to say good evening to all of you. We as a team have prepared PPT on World Bank, World Trade Organization and International Monetary Fund. Now I would like to introduce my team members. Our team members are myself, Shivam, Sneha, Sakshi, Sweetie and Vaishnavi. In this PPT, I will cover World Bank, which will help us better understand about this organization. We are happy to answer any question after we finish the PPT. Without wasting any more time, let's start with World Bank. The World Bank is an international organization dedicated to providing financing advice and research to developing nations to aid their economic advancement. The bank predominantly acts as an organization that attempts to fight poverty by offering developmental assistance to middle and low income countries. In next slide, I will tell you about what the World Bank does. The World Bank provides financing advice and other resources to developing countries in the areas of education, public safety, health, and other areas of need. Often, nations, organizations, and other institutions partner with the World Bank to sponsor development projects. In this slide, I will discuss about history of the World Bank. The World Bank was created in 1944 out of the Bretton Woods Agreement, which was secured under the auspices of the United Nations in the later days of World War II. The Bretton Woods Agreement included several components: a collective international monetary system, the formation of the World Bank, and the creation of the International Monetary Fund. Though titled as a bank, the World Bank is not necessarily a bank in the traditional chartered meanings of the word. The World Bank and its subsidiary groups operate within their own provisions and develop their own proprietary financial assistance products, all with the same goal of serving countries' capital needs internationally. In this slide, I will tell you about World Bank Group organization. It is headed by Board of Governors who is supported by executive directors, and executive directors have a team of president, chief operating officer, WBG chief financial officer, WBG human resources. In this slide, I will tell you about World Bank top contributor. USA is the topmost bank contributor. It includes 16.39% of the total value. And second most top contributor is Japan, 7.87%. And third one is Germany. It includes 4.49%. And fourth one is for UK, United Kingdom. It consists 4.30%. And fifth one is France. It includes 4.30%. In next slide, I will tell you about top borrower. Sorry, I forget to add the slide of top borrowers. Doesn't matter. I will explain it to you. Top borrowers are Mexico, Brazil, Turkey, Pakistan, China, India, and Argentina. Now I would like to call Isneha to cover the remaining topics. Thank you.
Good evening to one and all. I, Sneha Tiwari, and my topic is World Trade Organization. Introduction. Headquarters situated in Santa William Rapper, Geneva, Switzerland, established in 1 January 1995, created by Uruguay Round Negotiation 1986 to 1994. Membership 159 countries on 2 March 2013. Budget 197 million Swiss francs for 2013. Secretariat staff 60 for 640. Director General Roberto Azevedo. Next slide.
Hello. चलो.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Next slide. World Trade Organization is the international body dealing with the rules of trade between nations. Its goal is to supervise and expand international trade policies, provided technical assistance to developing nations. In another term, we can say that the World Trade Organization is a member-driven with decisions taken by general agreement among all members of government, and its deal with the rules of trade between nations at a global or near global level, but there is more to it than that. History. The World WTO began life on 1st January 1995, but its trading system is half a century older since 1948. The General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade GATT had provided the rules for system. The second WTO ministerial meeting held in Geneva in May 1998 included a celebration of 15th anniversary of the system. Objectives of WTO. There are some objectives of WTO. The first one is to implement the new world trade system as visualized in the agreement. The second one is to promote world trade in a manner that benefits every country. The third one is to ensure that developing countries secure a better balances in the sharing of the advantages resulting from the expansion of international trade corresponding to their development needs. And the fourth one is to demolish all hurdles to an open world trading system and usual international economics renaissance, because the world trade is an effective instrument to faster economic growth. Next one is to enhance competitiveness among all trading partners so as to benefit consumers and help in global integration. Next one is to increase the level of production and productivity with a view to ensuring level to employment in the world. Thus, the last one is to expand and utilize world resources to the best. Functions of WTO. The first one is administrating administering WTO trade agreement. The second one is forum for trade negotiation. Third one is handling trade dispute. Fourth one is monitoring national trade policies. Fifth one is technical assistance and training for developing countries. And the last one is cooperation with other international organizations. Thank you. Further, Sakshi will continue.
Good evening, everyone. Myself Sakshi. I am going to tell you about the benefit of WTO in India. First point: World Bank General Agreement and on traffic and trade level of level of trade in goods by 745 billion US dollars in 2005. Next point is in agriculture exports. Third is EURA strengthened multilateral rules and disciplines strategy safeguards dispute settlement etc. Next point MFA multi fibers agreement arrangement by 2005. Last is benefit in export of textile and clothing. Now the second one, members. 159 countries are the members of WTO. You Ukraine because the newest members of on May 2008. India 1st January 1995. Australia is 1st January 1995. Mexico is 1st January 1995. Israel 21st April in 1995. Italy is 1st January 1995. Jamaica is 9 March 1995. Japan is 1st January 1995. Now the next structure of WTO. Structure of WTO Ministerial Conference. They are divided into three parts: Dispute Settlement Body, General Council, Trade Policy Review Body, and General Council is divided into four parts: the Committee of Trade and Development and Trade Economy, Good Council, Intellectual Property Counseling Service Council. Now the next, the relevance of WTO. First point, the system help promote peace. The system allow dispute to be handled constructively. A system based on rules rather than power makes life easy for all. Fair trade cuts the cost of living. Trade raises incomes. The basic principles makes the systems economically more efficient and they cut costs. Last point, conclusion. India has a developing economic. India has developing economic has been benefited being a founding members the World Trade Organization. The country at large has seen many significant changes which have taken place after the formation of the WTO. There are some issues which are yet to be sorted out with the WTO, and but by and large things are falling in shape for the Indian economy. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to call Sweetie in further topic.
Good evening to one all. Today my topic is I Switi Saxena to tell you about IMF. What is IMF? The International Monetary Fund or IMF promotes international financial stability and international trade, promotes employment and sustainable economic growth and helps to reduce global poverty. The IMF is governed by accountable to its 190 members countries. The two institutions work together to ensure a strong system of international trade and payments that is open to all countries. Next, history of IMF. The IMF has played a part in shaping the global economy since the end of World War II. Secondly, during the Great Depression of the 1930s, countries attempted to help their falling economies by sharply raising barriers to foreign trade. devaluing their currencies to compete against each other for export markets and containing their freedom to hold foreign exchange. These attempts proved to be self-defeating. World trade declined sharply, and employment and living standards plumped in many countries. Next comes activities of IMF. There are three mainly activities: services and provision of policy advice; second, lending; third, technical assistance and research. The main task of the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is to maintain a dialogue with and among its member countries on the national and international implications of their economic and financial policies. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Vaishnavi for further topic.
Good evening to all of you. Today I am Vaishnavi is here to present the objectives of IMF. The objective of IMF is International Monetary Corporation. Second, ensure balanced international trade. Third, to ensure exchange rate stability, to eliminate or to minimize exchange restrictions by promoting the system of multilateral payments, to grant economic assistance to members countries for elementary the adverse balance of payment, to minimize the imbalances in quantum and durations of international trade, balance growth, and promote investment of capital. Next is the resources of IMF. The resources of IMF is to build up the subscriptions of members. Again the subscriptions quota of each member is to determine by its national income and its condition of international trade after determination of quota. Every member nations contribute 25% of its quota and its international reserve assets, and the remaining 75% is contributed in members' own currency. The contribution of first 25% was made originally in terms of gold, but how it is being made in special drawings rights and international reserve assets created by the IMF in 1969. There is also the provisions to enlarge the resources of the funds by resorting the borrowings by selling gold to the people and also by receiving fee from its borrowing members. Criticism on size fits all. One size fits all. The IMF frequently argues for the same economic policies regardless of the situation, takes away political autonomy. Countries such as Jamaica argue that IMF take away the ability for the countries to decide national policy. Moral hazard. The IMF has also been criticized by free market economics, arguing that they do too much. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
everyone
ma'am.
for your precious time. Please let us know if you have any question. We will happy to answer your question. No question. Sorry, sir, for interrupting.
Okay. Close your slide. Okay. Regarding WTO. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Regarding WTO, it was in 1944. Three organizations were born at Britain Wood, New Hampshire, America. Three organizations were born to restructure the war-torn economies of the world. Then first one was IMF, International Monetary Fund. Second was World Bank and its group. Third was ITO, International Trade Organizations. And in 1948, you can note down something. In 1948, ITO was converted into GATT, less ambitious organization GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. And later on, you can say it became Geneva-based organization where eight rounds held from you can say 1948 till 1993. You can say last one was Uruguay round, and you can say it was longest one from 86 to 93, approx 8 year. And basic objective was of GATT was Vaishnavi, mute yourself. Vaishnavi, mute yourself. In you can say basic objective of GATT was tariff reduction towards free trade economy. But I tell you, in can say in Kennedy round, sixth round, it was just they brought in picture non-tariff barriers in Tokyo round. It was turning point in the history of GATT, where non-tariff barriers were you can say described and later on in full-fledged way. It was eighth round. You can say prominently non-tariff barrier. You can say brought in. Ultimately, it was concluded in 93, in the beginning of 93, and it was Arthur Duncan who had presented this report known as the Arthur Dunkel report. And after that, Peter Sutherland was a Director General, and you can say in 1st Jan 1995, Boutros Ghali became new Director General of you can say World Trade Organization. So you can say in eighth round it was highly controversial at that time. It was pro-developed nations and anti-developing nations, country like India, Brazil, South Africa, and many least developing countries were there. Okay, so Boutros Ghali, first Director General of WTO, he said that you can say every developing nation must know the art of negotiations. Then you can say India itself learned how to talk, how to behave while trade deliberations were there. Ultimately, we had shown the world in terms of Morosoli Maran, a great parliamentarian. He had given 50 years to the parliament of the nation, and along with that, Mr. Kamal Nath earlier, you can say he was a commerce and trade minister. And a competent in terms of negotiation team. Next one is at present 169 members are there, WTO, none 159. Another one you can say whatever you have quoted, the name of Director General earlier up to 20, and before that he was a Director General. Now we have different persona is there in terms of Director General. You correct yourself, and you must update yourself in terms of what your deliberations are there and nowadays. Any question? Hello? Any question? Yes. Send your presentations.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay.